Today, we just want to talk about budgets, and I want to show you what it looks like here. And so when we filter down onto a specific community, all you do is you click one button and you ask it to project a budget based on this year's performance. And so it's going to ask you a couple of initial questions, but here I'm just going to be very open-ended. I'm going to say, okay, let's do fiscal year 2026 and reference the contracts to understand price escalations for the year. Otherwise, use your judgment. So the first thing here is it's going to look at documents, and it's going to look at documents in two specific components. Document one are governing documents, and then two, we're going to look at the service contracts. So down here, we're going to say, okay, you've got a service contract for trash, you've got a service contract for landscaping. We know that this is going to increase by, 3% in 2026. We know landscape's going to increase. And so we can actually build that logic as we're going. So as we look at all of these documents, the next set of components that it's going to look at is the reserve study. And there are two important features of the reserve study. Number one is it's going to look at the remaining life of all the assets, right? So we can actually understand what do we need to go invest in 2026 in order to make sure the clubhouse doesn't fall down. Now, what's powerful here is you can actually copy this summary and directly give this to the board. So after all of this analysis, after all of the documents, we're actually going to spit out an Excel sheet here. What's interesting here is the notes, right? This now gives your team or your board much more context for actually what's happening here. And so now we can actually go back and we can say, hey, here's the governing documents that say all of the things that we need to say. And this is why we're recommending increasing or decreasing a certain number.